Welcome to episode number 319 of the Marine Layer podcast. It's a mailbag episode, so we'll open it up and answer your guys' best listener questions.
Your guys' reminder, just make sure you're staying on top of all of our stuff. If you want to do that, everything's over at our website, marinelayerpod.com. You can find all of our episodes there. If you're listening, please make sure to go download these episodes and leave a 5-star review when you're rating and reviewing on Apple and Spotify. If you're on YouTube, go hit subscribe. Button's right in front of you. Best way to support the channel, drop a like, leave a comment. You can go buy your merch. You can go find our Patreon all over at our website, and then check us out all across social media at Marine Layer Pod.
Let's get it rolling.
The pitch from Acevedo. A drive deep to right field. Down the line. The Mariners win this game 2-1. The dream lives. They're going to the playoffs. 1-1 from Jansen. There you go. Left field. We got a tie ball game. Julio. Oh, baby, what a moment. Tie ball game at 7-7.
And we welcome you to this episode of the Marine Layer podcast, part of the Just Baseball Podcast Network. Recording here on Thursday evening, October 30th. Happy Halloween to all of you as you're listening to this on Friday. What are you dressing up as?
Aaron Judge, Christian Yelich, I don't know.
Do you have a jersey to back it up?
If I did, it would basically be an entire costume since I get told I look like those two guys all the time.
Hey, you just need some baseball pants and you need a Brewers jersey. Or a Yankees jersey.
Are you actually dressing up?
Yeah, I have my costumes like sitting over here to the left. You want to guess what I'm going to be?
What is it?
I'm going to be a Star Wars character. Which one do you think I'm going to be?
I mean, it's going to have to be one that doesn't require a ton of effort and
Well, I did
shopping.
buy a costume.
Even still, I'm guessing you didn't go all out and spend thousands of dollars on a costume. So I'm guessing you don't have some crazy Mandalorian costume.
No, it's like a $30 costume.
Is it 3PO?
No. More fun than 3PO.
I don't know, Han Solo?
I'm going to be Anakin.
That's not fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
Anakin's an asshole.
So what? He's objectively the most dynamic person.
Yeah, but he's an asshole.
Yeah, and I was about to be an asshole. I was worried my lightsaber wasn't going to get here in time, but it literally arrived this afternoon, so thank goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's our brief 2-minute synopsis on Halloween here at the Marine Layer podcast. We're heavy Halloween celebrators, so clearly we're really dressed up right now for all of you to watch. Mostly bantering about Halloween because there's been almost nothing for the Mariners to come out this week. Unless there's two storylines that are honestly getting blown out of proportion. Which one would you like to talk about first?
I mean, is one of them Fangraphs giving Dan Wilson an F for his bullpen decisions?
That was not one of them. If you would like to include that, we can make it 3.
Well, it is like we said, people. Remember how we talked about just a few episodes ago that the Mariners need an in-game strategist? Fangraphs seems to think the same thing. He got an F for his bullpen decisions. Again, this is Fangraphs. This ain't us. This ain't Mariners fans on a Reddit chat. This is a very objective, analytically driven baseball site saying that. So,
and that article, I learned a lot more things about bullpen decisions than I thought I knew. Yeah. I'm serious. I was learning. I was like, oh, that was a negative? Wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna guess you weren't the only one not thinking about it.
That's probably safe. I do think before we get into this mailbag, we need to address this Josh Naylor comment. We should have done it on Wednesday's episode, but I said in quote to Lau before we were taping that episode, I said, it's not a big deal. Then we finished recording, and I opened my phone, and we had 6 different DMs within the last hour asking, what does this comment mean?
Oh, by the end, we got, 20 plus DMs? Couple to our personal accounts, a lot to the podcast accounts. Everybody being like, is he gone?
So let's address it. Since I, for some reason, didn't think it was a big enough story to address on Wednesday's podcast. Lyle, is Josh Naylor leaving a comment like that on Cal Raleigh's post a good thing or a bad thing?
It's not anything. It's nothing. Josh Naylor hasn't made his decision before free agency even started. He hasn't decided already, you know what? I'm out. I'm leaving Seattle. For what we're going to guess, he doesn't know what the Mariners' best and final offer will be. He doesn't know what other teams across the league are going to offer him. He doesn't probably even know all the teams that are interested in him yet. I think it's a nothing burger. It's fine. I get it. We're at that point of the offseason where it's really early and there's so little news to hang on to, but I wouldn't get wrapped up in a comment on Cal Raleigh's Instagram.
I mean, we've been doing this for almost 3 years now. I don't think I've ever seen a comment get that much traction. That much. I mean, we've seen people be celebrated. We've seen people get canceled. I've never seen anything like that. Truly. Do we think Josh knows he's fucking with people?
He's a smart guy. I bet you he knows. I bet you he knew exactly what he was doing with that. Whether he has full intention to re-sign with the Mariners or not, I bet you he knew exactly what he was doing.
My take on it is he can't show his hands that he's like on his hand to the Mariners, that he's on his hands and knees wanting to come back to Seattle, because that's bad negotiating 101. That's how you end up with, like, he comes to the Mariners and says, oh, I really want to sign here. And the Mariners are like, great, we'll sign you for a 3-year deal for $30 million. Well, I don't think Josh Naylor wants to sign a 3-year deal for $30 million. So he's going to play hard to get. He's going to make the Mariners pay him a real amount, especially if other teams are going to come to the table and want to pay him a real amount. You can't just say, I'll see you in Peoria next year, Cal.
Could be his agent, too, getting in his ear saying, hey, just think of some ways to balance out everything you've said the last 2 months. From everything you talked about with how much you love the fans, how much you love the city, how much you love the ballpark, how easy you think it is to hit in this ballpark. Just balance it out a little. Don't play your hand, like you said. You got to keep it a little bit neutral right now. You're a free agent.
So do we think he's going to come out and say, you know what? I actually hate coffee.
That would be funny.
Then we'd know.
You know, I might have said that I don't get excited about anything. Whatever that Mariners social media thing was that they did with him. He's like, yeah, I don't have a favorite anything. I just don't. It's like, I might not have, maybe Josh Naylor will come out now, do his own social posts, get into the content world this offseason and be like, well, I might not have anything that's my favorite, but let me list some things that are my least favorite. Coffee, seafood, rain,
Humpy.
and Humpy. Yeah, those are my Mount Rushmore least favorite things. Josh Naylor out of Seattle.
The comment itself, the wording he used was incredibly weird. I mean, it was probably the vaguest, most like complex situational comment he could have left.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, it was, you can go check out our social post on it where I was trying to break down the verbiage of it. I mean, he leaves it completely like up in the air, whether this is it immediate past tense? Is it permanent past tense? Is it temporary past tense? What is it? What does he mean? Is it not past tense at all?
No one knows.
Just Josh Naylor, apparently.
Yeah.
But he's a free agent. He needs to play the process out. So, of course, he's not going to just put his cards down on the table before the offseason officially starts, which it could as soon as Friday night if the Blue Jays win, in which case Lau and I Monday's episode might not be the happiest of campers in the world, but we can address that problem when we get there because that series is not over. Speaking of that series, though, we do have a mailbag question about this, but I do want to touch on it briefly here at the beginning.
Shouldn't we just save most of it?
You want to save it? Okay, we can save it.
Okay,
but it is going to come out of the World Series, and we will get to the mailbag question.
How about this?
On it.
We will save all of our analysis for it. But if you want to just present the topic, I will say in the last 24 hours since Trey Savage's dominant Game 5 start in the World Series, there's been a lot of Mariners fans out there talking about Jurangelo versus Trey Savage, which for those who don't remember, the Mariners picked 15th in the draft in 24. Savage fell down boards because there were some medical concerns. The Mariners still took Jurangelo. Savage went 20. There's a lot of discourse on that now in the last 24 hours. So I'll leave it at that, and we will break it down much more in the mailbag. Can I address one Josh Naylor thing before we get to the mailbag, though?
Sure.
They don't re-sign Josh Naylor. They're fucked. I was thinking about this more and more. There are no options for the Mariners if they don't re-sign Josh Naylor. If you don't re-sign him, the options become Pete Alonso, Boris guy, so forget it, not coming here. We've talked about it plenty on this podcast. The Scott Boras-Mariners relationship is not good. There hasn't been a Boras client that's signed here in 25 years, roughly. There's Cody Bellinger, who most of his value comes from being an outfielder nowadays. Also a Boras guy, so probably not. And the rest of the guys that are going to be free agent first basemen are basically hanging on by a thread to their careers. They're 39, 40, just about done. Justin Turner. You've got Paul Goldschmidt. You've got Carlos Santana. Donovan Solano's technically a free agent again.
What about Rowdy?
Well, he's not quite 40, but him too. And you look internally for the Mariners. I'm thinking about this today, and I'm like, what is their best internal option of throw Luke Raley aside, which is not a good internal option for first base. Him aside, who could be coming up the pipeline that could help? Your best option is trying to have Michael Arroyo learn first base. And I say that's not in a good way. Michael Arroyo's 5'9". Like, he shouldn't be playing first base.
He might be Donovan Solano.
Yeah. So, point being, we'll have plenty of offseason time to talk about Josh Naylor.
Or Laz.
Yeah, except Laz is minimum going to spend another 4 to 5 months down in the minor leagues. So, in terms of a plan for 2026, that ain't it. Maybe that's his position long term. But this is what I mean. And honestly, Michael Arroyo needs more time too. He didn't light the world on fire in Double-A. He can really hit, but he needs more development time, and he's really young. So point being, Mariners don't sign Josh Naylor, they're fucked. And I bet you his agent knows that too. And he's going to try and drive up the price because he knows the Mariners don't have another option.
Ryan Bliss?
I mean, I just said Michael Arroyo can't play first base. Ryan Bliss? Ryan's shorter than Arroyo.
I know. They're also, the thing about this is there is no other player. I think the Mariners are going to spend the amount of money they would spend on Josh Naylor on an AAV basis. Well, so like if they don't spend that money on him, it's not getting spent, I don't think. Not on players outside of the organization.
Oh, I think it might be.
I hope so.
I think
most likely, though.
Now, see, there's a spin zone. What if Josh Naylor's already been told by the Mariners, hey, buddy, sorry to do it, but all your funds are being spent on Kyle Tucker?
I would make that sack. I think I'd be okay with that.
Oh, I'd be okay with it. But, yes.
And on a serious note, would you be okay with Jorge Polanco playing first base? He'd be cheaper.
Not really. And that's not meant to say I don't want Jorge Polanco. Hang on. I want Jorge Polanco back. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. I don't want Jorge Polanco back to be your permanent solution at first base. I want Jorge Polanco back to do what he knows how to do. And I know he spent some time practicing some first base this year. I don't care. Remember the last time they tried to have Jorge Polanco come back in and learn a new position? Oh, wait. That was in 2025, and that lasted 5 fucking games.
Okay, but say Josh Naylor signs with the Mets after Pete Alonso walks. What do you do?
I don't know.
Like, do you want better production at first?
I mean, maybe that's what you have to do, but this is my point. Get Josh Naylor
sign Josh
back.
Naylor.
Yeah, get Josh Naylor back, and then you can worry about Polo. Have him come back in. Have him be your DH for the most part, and he can mix in at second base again, too, if you need him to. But don't fuck around with this. Just sign Naylor.
It doesn't sound like right now they're going to fuck around with it, but I guess the results are going to tell us that. I hope they offer him $90 million. Like the Jim Bowden prediction of 4 years for $90 million. Offer him that and make him tell you no. Yeah. Like make him say no to that. That's a lot of money. That's more money per year than Christian Walker got.
Right. And that's
make him turn that down.
Well, Naylor's agent's probably going to argue for exactly that because Naylor had a better walk year. He's younger. He's got more. I mean, there's a lot of reasons Naylor's agent can argue that Naylor should be getting more than Christian Walker. But
I certainly don't want to be hearing anything close to the lines of what's coming out of Detroit right now that the Tigers' last offer to Tarek Skubal was, get this, less money than that contract I just offered to Josh Naylor. So I don't want to hear that.
Let me look right into the camera and say this to any person that might be listening. Do not ever tell me the Dodgers are ruining baseball. Don't ever tell me that. Don't ever tell me that. You've got the Detroit Tigers offering the best pitcher on the planet less than $20 million a year for 4 years. Stop. It's teams like that are ruining baseball. If teams like that actually invested the necessary money to keep their homegrown stars in town, guess what? The Dodgers wouldn't have all these guys. Because when players that are superstars are left with no other options, where are they going to go? The teams that'll pay them what they're worth. The Dodgers are not ruining baseball. The Pirates are ruining baseball. The A's are ruining baseball. The Rockies are ruining baseball. If the Tigers are serious with this offer, they're ruining baseball. It's not the Dodgers.
I think it's funny you put the Rockies in there. I don't think the Rockies are ruining baseball. I just think they're awful.
I mean, to be fair, they've spent some money. They just do it terribly.
They're just really bad at spending money.
All right, the Pirates. How did I leave them out?
Sure, yeah, the Pirates. The Pirates are the pioneer example of all of that. But Tarek needs somewhere to play. I have an idea.
I do too. Sadly, that's not a mailbag question. It could be in future weeks.
Could be. It was last week.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a good talk about it.
Let's get to the mailbag. Plenty of good questions on here. I'm going to remind all of you as we get into this mailbag, if you'd like priority for mailbag questions, the place to go is our Patreon. Patreon.com/MarineLayerPod. You can go check it out there. There's plenty of great perks if you sign up for it. You get the priority, you get ad-free episodes, and you get a chance to hop on a video call with Lau and I once a month. A lot of very great things, a lot of bang for your buck there. So if that's something that interests you, patreon.com/MarineLayerPod. So with that, we'll start off on Patreon with Josh. And Josh's question is, what are some bullpen arms the Mariners should target this offseason?
You can go first on this one.
There's one like runaway number one for this. Do you agree? Without even looking?
I think we're going to be in the same boat with this.
And I'm thinking about everything the Mariners think of in the past. Don't want to spend money. Don't want to spend long-term on bullpen because they believe so much in their development. But I think they need to at least add one bullpen arm from the outside this year, and preferably one high-end bullpen arm. That guy's Devin Williams. Devin Williams right now, according to Spotrac, is projected to get $5.7 million. 1 year ago, if you were to give that guy a contract, it would have started with a 2. $20 million a year, probably, for Devin Williams. But he went to the Bronx. He had an ERA near 5. I don't think that's reflective of who he is as a pitcher. Before that year, this dude had a sub-2 ERA the previous 3 years combined. Sub-2 with nasty strikeout stuff, mid-30% strikeout rate. His airbender changeup was one of the best pitches in baseball. And he is right now in need of a 1-year deal to go prove himself and get back out on the open market, hopefully before the lockout happens, and land a long-term extension with somebody. What better place to do that than Seattle? Because I'll tell you what, after that season in New York, no one's handing him a 5-year deal for $80 to $100 million. That's not happening.
I would sign Devin Williams for $6 million and run away, not even thinking twice about it. Even with Williams' ERA this year, everything about his season screams that he got unlucky and he still has ridiculous stuff. You mentioned the ERA was near 5. His xERA was 3.07. His FIP was 2.68. By all accounts, all the expected stats say Devin Williams should have had another borderline elite season. Is that not enough? You want to look at his actual peripherals? Do you want to look at his Savant page? Strikeout rate, 97th percentile. Top 3% of the league again this year. Whiff rate, chase rate, top 3% of the league yet again. Change-up run value, actually higher in 2025 than it was in 24. What do I think about Devin Williams? I think he had a couple of blow-up outings. I think he did not like pitching in the Bronx. I think not everybody's fit to pitch in New York, and I think he's going to look for a 1-year deal to reset his market. Where would you rather go, buddy? Pitchers Park, team that was the third team that was the third from last team to be eliminated in all of baseball this year, has a young core, already has a good bullpen. You're not expected to carry the entire weight load like you probably were too much so in New York when they expected you to come in and be the guy. I couldn't think of a better situation for Devin Williams, and I couldn't think of a better situation for the Mariners. I would get this guy in a literal heartbeat and not think twice about it. If I were the Mariners, honestly, before I even sign Josh Naylor, because that's going to take some time, the second the offseason starts, I would be banging the drum to get Devin Williams signed, sealed, delivered, and into the city of Seattle.
I mean, I would pay him more money than that projection. I'd pay him $8 million if he wants it. Just got to get him here. Just think of how this fits in the Mariners bullpen. Your leverage guys right now, your top leverage guys are fastball slider with Munoz throwing a sinker. This guy's going to throw a changeup. It's going to be a different look. One of the big things about the bullpen management in the playoffs is that the Mariners offered up the same look to lineups too many times. When you get into their leverage guys, what do their top three right-handed leverage arms all throw?
They all throw fastball slider.
Right. And when you see that 5 times in a series, it gets a little repetitive. The difference is Devin Williams is going to throw his changeup, which is one of the best pitches in baseball, about 60% of the time. It works out so unbelievably well. And it is just another like 1A guy that you can use to load manage Andres Munoz a little bit because he does tend to wear down if you overuse him. So use Devin Williams too. Manage that all with Matt Brash. And that's the fourth total true leverage arm, true top tier guy that you can put back there to really go lock down the 9th inning. It's going to win you games. I mean, it could win you 2 to 3 extra games by just having Devin Williams in there and just not having to worry about it overall. Yeah, I know you couldn't get Yohan Duran, but getting Devin Williams is a 2 thumbs up for me. It's so easy of a decision.
It's the first move I'd make this offseason. I'm serious. Yeah. Naylor's going to take some time. I would not mess around with this at all. I would sign Devin Williams the second free agency starts and not think twice.
Let me throw a couple other names at you. Ryan Helsley.
Yeah, I'd take a flyer on Ryan Helsley for sure. I know he didn't have a great year, but again, relievers are fickle. History suggests he's a really, really good to borderline elite reliever. Big stuff. Yeah.
He was really bad with the Mets.
He was.
Really, really, really bad with the Mets. There is still plenty to believe, though, that he's still really good because he still throws really hard, and that's his bread and butter. The thing I also really like, doesn't give up any homers, despite the fact he throws a fastball that lives at the top of the zone. A+ for a reliever. That's how you get blown up. He doesn't do it. His price will be more expensive, though. Like some of these next guys, their price will all be, I believe, over $10 million. In fact, many of them might be over $15 million.
You think Helsley's going to be more than Devin Williams?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think Helsley's going to have to take a 1-year deal.
I mean, somebody might give Devin Williams more, especially if you look at the peripherals.
We'll see how this plays out. Spotrac doesn't seem to think that.
Okay.
They think Helsley is going to get more money than Devin Williams.
Okay.
How about Robert Suarez?
So now you're getting into the real big fish. I don't know if the Mariners would ever commit real dollars to a bullpen arm. With Robert Suarez, this is one of those relievers where you're talking about $20 million a year. I mean, he's really good. What do you want me to say? He's an all-star. He was part of a Padres bullpen that was elite this year, especially post-deadline. But, look, if the Mariners had an unlimited budget, I'd say absolutely. Problem is, I think we all know how that goes. So I might have to choose to allocate it elsewhere.
Not a big strikeout artist, and he's going to be 35 next year. So, like, if you're paying... I can't... Let me make sure I word this correctly. I don't feel like paying a 35-year-old reliever $20 million a year is the best strategy in the world.
No, if his price comes down a little bit, I'd be interested, but not $20 million a year, and not if he's looking at multiple years. Probably not. Can I throw a nostalgic name out there?
I have a nostalgic name, too. Let's see if we're thinking of the right person. Say person.
I'm going to guess we are, but I was going to say, what about an Eddie reunion?
Oh, not who I was thinking of. He's going to be even more expensive than he was last time.
He's older, though, now.
He still is going to get 4 years for $20 million a pop.
Probably. I mean, he just put up another 1 ERA season, so yeah.
I would love if the Mariners wanted to pay Edwin Diaz, I'd be totally okay with it. He is so much better now than he was when they traded him away, and he was so good then.
I mean, that paired with, I was always such an Eddie fan. I think he was my favorite Mariner of that 2016 to 2018 era. I was just such a huge Edwin Diaz fan.
If some of you sort of forget, Edwin Diaz right now is a 50% strikeout guy. It's like coin flip whether or not he strikes the guy out at the plate.
Imagine adding that guy to the back of your bullpen.
I'd bump Mooney down to the 8th inning in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Or, again, you can just not have one guy be forced to close all the time and just play matchups. Imagine that.
Sounds good to me. It doesn't matter what Edwin Diaz throws. He's just going to strike everyone out. The nostalgic name I had was not nostalgic to the Mariners.
Oh, I think I know where you might go with this, but let's hear it.
Kenley.
Oh, also not where I was going to go. I don't know. You want that guy packing up, and leaving the team with 5 days to go in the year?
But that's the Angels. Can you blame him?
No, that happened with the Red Sox.
Maybe he spent too much time with the Angels and got some bad habits. I'm going to say the culture with the Mariners will keep him in track. I'm floating Kenley out there because he'd probably only get a 1-year deal, and he wouldn't be as expensive. And he has posted every year, even as he's aged.
Yeah.
His velo isn't as good as it used to be, but his cutter is still pretty effective. He's going to get guys out, and he's going to make a lot of appearances.
The nostalgic name I was going to go with, it wasn't Kenley. And again, he's really aging, so we'll see.
He had a 2.6 ERA last year.
Yeah, he still had a good year. But I think there might be some internal stuff there that maybe the Mariners don't want to deal with. I don't know if he's supposed to be an all-world clubhouse guy, at least anymore. So
he's not at the top of my list, so I can't blame you. But in terms of fits for how they play on the baseball field, that made me look.
I don't know. Okay, last one. I know we've gone in a little deep on this topic here because we're thinking about nostalgic relievers. He only made 15 or 16 outings with the Mariners 2 years ago, but would they think about Luke Weaver?
Ooh.
I mean, now he wasn't really making appearances as a reliever with the Mariners. He was kind of a swing man, and he didn't really break out until he left the Mariners.
He wasn't good.
Now he's a reliever. He's been really good the last 2 years.
What is his value? How much is he worth?
I don't know, but he's going to be 32. I can't imagine he's going to get Edwin Diaz, Robert Suarez money.
32, solid strikeout to walk numbers, gets a lot of chase, does not get ground balls at all, which is something the Mariners really like with their relievers. Man, maybe I'd give him a 2-year deal, maybe? It's been good. He's not as good as he was last year, though, I will say this year.
Yeah.
Which hurts him in that department. But I think that's interesting. There's a lot of names out there that they can go, but I think the Mariners need to start with Devin Williams and then worry about everyone else after that. Because if they sign Devin Williams, they can run back the rest of that bullpen.
Yeah.
For the most
also,
part.
I just looked. Luke Weaver, Scott Boras guys. So, nope, forget it.
Oh. Well, Scott Boras guys who are cheaper are, I guess, a little easier.
Again, I don't think Boras has had anybody sign here. Maybe
your client's only making $15 total million, and the Mariners offer it, they'll sign.
All right. I mean, maybe.
We're talking about the multi-year high AAV free agents.
All right.
The stars.
Fair enough.
All right, next question comes from Graham on Patreon, and Graham's question is, can you see the Mariners taking a punt, or I guess a stab at Kazuma Okamoto? Did I say that right? Okamoto?
Yeah,
yes, I did.
so.
For the Mariners next year.
Yeah, so this is an interesting name. He's not the headline bat to be coming out of Japan this winter. That's somebody we'll get to later in this mailbag. But man, he's flying under the radar. He's really good, you guys. And truthfully, he might be a safer bet than the other guy we'll get to later coming over from Japan. So who's Kazuma Okamoto? If you're the Mariners and you don't re-sign Josh Naylor, this is probably where they're going to look to, if I had to guess. Because again, Bellinger, Pete Alonso, probably not coming to Seattle. Not a ton of other options. He's coming over from Japan, and there's a lot to like about his profile. I mean, you look at what he's done. I'll give you his home runs by season over the last couple of years. I mean, I'll even go back to 2018. I'll just read them out. 33, 31, 31, 39, 30, 41, 27. And then this year, because he was banged up, he only hit 15. But you prorate that, he probably would have had another 30-homer season. Has power, can really hit, draws some walks. And the big thing with him is he's not a big strikeout guy in Japan. And in Japan, you have to keep your strikeout rate down for, at the very least, the two of us, but I think a lot of evaluators, to feel confident that you can come over to Major League Baseball and have it translate. And Okamoto doesn't strike out a lot. So there is some part of his profile here that says, yeah, his game should translate to some extent. So would I rather sign him over Josh Naylor? No, because he's unproven. You don't know exactly what you're going to get, and there's going to be a bidding war for him. But if Naylor were to go somewhere else, yeah, I'd look here.
So you can't hit. Like, he definitely can hit, and the profile is a little bit more complete. So the strikeouts, the walks, like, when we're talking about those rates for this year, it was 11% for both of them, along with a 992 OPS in 70 games. That sounds really good. You're going to have to lop some of that off when he comes to Major League Baseball because the pitching here is that much better. And now let me address the concern with him. There is a concern that he cannot hit velocity. Eric Longenhagen of Fangraphs dove into him and said once the pitch speed gets to 94 miles an hour, his stats fall off a cliff. Mm-hmm. So he does a lot of damage against an average NPB fastball, which is between 90 and 91 miles an hour. But once he gets over 94, he has a lot of trouble. If you want to look on the optimistic side of that, since he doesn't see that much velocity, he doesn't get to practice much against it. Therefore, comes over to Major League Baseball, sees 1,000 pitches over 95 miles an hour, or 94, then he's going to get a little bit better at it because he's going to get some practice. Problem is, he's not really in the learning stage of his career. He's going to be 30 years old next year.
In other words, he's not getting the Shohei Roki Sasaki contract. You're going to have to pay him. So you're going to have to pay him on the idea that he's going to come over and be productive.
Pay him how much? If you're going to have to pay him $15 million a year, that just doesn't feel like you're getting as much value as you are paying Josh Naylor 23.
Again, get Naylor's deal done, please.
The projected contract for him is about 3 to 4 years, $15 to $17 million. If you have to, I guess, I'm just not totally comfortable with signing a 30-year-old first-time big leaguer making that much money. Because it could blow up in your face.
Yeah. Could be Masataka Yoshida.
Could be. Like Seiya Suzuki, for example, crushed in the MPB. Way better numbers than Okamoto had. And he's been good in Chicago and got paid a lot more money. He was also younger when he came over. Okamoto's, again, going to be 30 years old. Here's something you also might not like, Lyle, as Longenhagen dove into his scouting report on him. In terms of fit with the Mariners, specifically the ballpark, do you want to guess which Major League hitter he compared his spray chart to?
Don't tell me Jesse Winker.
No.
All right, who is it?
You've called this player a gimmick.
I don't think I've called any player a gimmick. Oh, no. Yeah. It's Isak Paredes, isn't it?
That is exactly who he compared him to.
Oh, boy.
That's a little bit more of a tough sell, isn't it?
Yeah, so I must have not seen Longenhagen write that part of it. So that means he hits a lot of wall-scraping homers?
Pull side fly balls is his specialty.
Well, if he crushes pull side fly balls, great. If he's hitting wall scrapers like Isak Paredes, yeah, he's going to OPS 600 in this ballpark.
But it's a different ball against different pitchers.
Yeah, that's true. Again, this is why they have to get Naylor done. It is an interesting case, and I would legitimately rank him as the second option for the Mariners at first base behind Naylor because there are no other options, especially not ones that are realistic. But yes, there's valid concerns with just about any player that'll come over from Japan, and Okamoto has concerns.
Before we get to our next question, do you want to read an ad?
Yeah. How about our friends over at Pagacha's Pub 85? You guys hear us talk about it. We'll keep talking about it. It's an awesome spot to go hang out with your friends. If you want to watch some games, there's 20 TVs in the place for all the college football, NFL football, basketball, hockey. It's all in full swing now. This is really the peak of the sports calendar. So get on out and watch some games with your friends over there. You can have some great food and drinks that are during happy hour awesome deals. When I say awesome, they're $3 and $4 deals from 2 to 6 p.m. on Monday through Friday. Those are happy hours, and they're awesome, awesome specials. Again, $3 to $4 drinks, 2 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. You can catch all of that at Pagach's Pub 85 in Kirkland.
Next question is from Xander on Patreon, and Xander's question is, has this season changed opinion on ownership investing in the team, or will this offseason again be make or break for the regime?
No, it hasn't. They need to go out and prove it this winter. I was thrilled with what the Mariners did at the trade deadline. Let me be very clear about that. That's a Jerry and Justin thing. Most of that is credit to them and their staff in the front office for going out, pulling the trigger, and making the moves that they did. If they were not allowed to pull the trigger for Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez this summer and eat about $8 million, that's a problem in its own right. Like, I'm sorry, I can't sit up here and parade the owners for taking on $8 million at the trade deadline. You want to go out and change your narrative? You better go get some stuff done this winter. It starts with Josh Naylor.
We either need like a 10-year sample of spending, or they need to win a World Series. One of those two.
Yeah. No.
Those are the things for them to make it, and for us to not hold this cloud over them, which I think there should always be expectations for the fans to hold the organization to the highest standard. It just depends, like, is your process working? For example, like, teams that don't necessarily go out and spend in free agency that much but have won. For example, the Atlanta Braves. They don't spend in free agency really at all, but they've won a World Series. And their winning strategy is pretty similar to the Mariners, to be honest. Draft, develop, trade.
But their payroll's in the top 10.
Correct, because they also pay all of their stars as well, which helps.
Yes.
And they're active to go out and pay players from other teams. Mariners haven't really done that. You're right, there is a difference. But again, that's like saying, like, let's use the Braves example again for this offseason. Like, they stunk this year. Like, are Braves fans saying, like, got to go out and spend in free agency? It's like, well, no, they have their process down, so they're going to trust their process to work. Their process has worked. Mariners' process has not worked yet.
Yeah.
So, like, that's, again, what they need to show. Win a World Series, or you got 10 years where your process is really good, but the results just aren't there, unfortunately. Right. So that's how I would look at it. You can't... They signed Josh Naylor, and they signed Jorge Polanco, and they signed Devin Williams. The ownership has made it for this offseason.
Yeah. We'll have no bad words to say. And I guess it doesn't have to be Devin Williams specifically, but you go bring those two guys back, and you go get a real bullpen arm. Great. I'm not saying you're going to be paraded by the national media saying you won the offseason, because whatever team makes a couple of ridiculous splashes is going to be the golden child of the offseason, and people are going to hype them all up. But if you're the Mariners and you're Mariners fans and your organization goes out and does exactly that, and they essentially run most of the group back from last year, and you add to the bullpen a little bit, and you give yourself some wiggle room to still add at the deadline, which we know is a part of their process, yeah, we'll say they did a good job. We will say they are set out and ready to compete for a pennant yet again. Because if they go do those things, they will be. And there will be no bad blood. And again, not every position has to be figured out, set in stone on opening day. If third base is a little bit of an experiment for the first half of the year, okay. If it's really a problem, you can go out at the deadline and do something about it. I would love for them to go get Kyle Tucker, as I've made very clear, but let's say for some reason that I have foreseen my prediction wrong somehow. That'd be insane. And he goes somewhere else, and you have to figure out right field again. All right, let it play out for half a season. If you have to go add somebody at the deadline, you can do that. But if the Mariners go out, and again, if they go out and do what we highlighted, they've done their job. But we hear $15 million again, there's going to be problems.
This is a juicy next question. This is from Mitchell on Instagram, and this is going to highlight the subject we were talking about at the beginning of the episode. Where would the Mariners be right now if they took Trey Savage at number 15 instead of Durangelo Sanger?
So we did preview this a little bit earlier in the episode because, yeah, there's been a lot of discourse on this here in the last day or so after Trey Savage threw an unbelievable Game 5 start in the World Series. He punched out 12. That's a World Series record for a rookie. He went 7 innings, anchored the Blue Jays to a Game 5 win. As we're recording this, they're one win away from a World Series title. I'm sorry, guys. We go ahead.
I was going to say, let's answer the question first and then do big picture things second.
All right. Where would the Mariners be if they had drafted Trey Savage over Durangelo? They would be sitting right where they're sitting right now. TJ and I would be sitting here doing this very exact episode, doing an off-season mailbag. The Mariners would not be in the World Series. Why?
I'm right there with... Actually, well... Would they be in the World Series by subtraction?
Oh, because instead of facing Trey Savage, they would have faced Jose Barrios or Chris Bassett instead?
There's no guarantee, though, that changes. But, okay, I mean, the odds, we're playing a what-if game. So, actually, let's go with yours and just say it's the exact same, which I'm there with you on.
Because Trey Savage, if he was in the Mariners organization, would have ended the year in Double-A. He wasn't going to replace any of those 5 guys in the rotation. Who was there to replace? Those guys are about as set in stone as anybody in baseball. When they're all healthy, that's the rotation. So, Savage would have spent the year in the minors, which is fine. He would have had a good year, I'm sure, in the minors, but the Mariners aren't in a different spot right now.
And Durangelo's numbers in the minors are not that different from Trey Savage's. No, not really. So, let me answer the question. Mariners would be nowhere different because the Mariners, unlike the Blue Jays, have a set 5 in the rotation when it's healthy, and there's not going to be a single prospect that's going to bump any of those guys out of the rotation unless they trade out of their rotation. That's the only way there's going to be a spot open. Injury or trade. That's it. And at the end of the season, when Trey Savage debuted in the middle of September, Mariners had 5 starters. And they sure as heck were not going to say, oh yeah, let's put a rookie who we just drafted last year, throwing on fumes probably, to throw our biggest games of the season. No, it's not what the Mariners were going to do. So yeah, Mariners would be no different right now with Trey Savage and Durangelo St. John. In fact, we'd probably be talking about the 2 pitchers the same right now. Whether or not you had Durangelo or Trey, you'd be very excited to see them next year, and they'd most likely be debuting for the Mariners sometime next season when a spot opens up. The only real difference between the 2 of them this year, to be honest, Lyle, Trey Savage did strike out batters at a much higher rate in the minor leagues. He had a 41% strikeout rate in the minors this year.
Yeah, that's really good. And his splitter's been nasty. There's no denying that. He had a great first year overall, minor leagues and big leagues.
But also, these 8 starts he's made at the big league level in no way have convinced me or convinced Lyle the Mariners made the wrong decision. I'm sorry, everyone watched that start against the Dodgers. It was great. He was fantastic in that start. The Mariners should have kicked his ass 2 starts in a row in the ALCS, but rolled over and didn't. Like that's it. Then what's the reputation of Trey Savage? That he was a rookie pitching as deep in a season as he's ever pitched in his career, facing a team in the ALCS that is an incredibly talented lineup and just got overmatched. That's what we'd be talking about. Mm-hmm. Not that, what if they took Senja instead? No, wouldn't be talking about that.
No. And again, there's still a real world Durangelo's upside is higher. This was always the expectation. Durangelo was never supposed to move as fast as Savage. That was always the idea. Savage was going to move quicker. Floor was a little bit higher. And yeah, he shot his way through the minor leagues. But guess what? He doesn't have the pitch mix. He doesn't have the pitch mix that Durangelo has. He doesn't have the upshoot on the fastball that Durangelo has. He doesn't have he doesn't have a slider like Durangelo. It's different profiles. And Joe said this. Joe Doyle, our friend who comes on a few times a year with us, he said that for the Mariners, Durangelo Senja made more sense for them than Trey Savage. There was more to work with. There was a little bit more raw talent there. And again, with what the Mariners like in their pitchers, that's what Durangelo presents.
If there's a viral clip from a guest of our podcast, it's most likely Joe. Unfortunately. Oh, we've talked to them about this where it's like every time he comes on, there's always that one clip that usually rubs people the wrong way. And this one is 18 months old.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The post Kate Anderson draft podcast, he's done great so far. There's nothing about that.
He's still got a full year for that to come back around and get dug up again.
I forgot. Well, yeah, people people didn't like his takes about Laz before the start of this season, but Mariners fans don't like to hear anything about Laz other than he's going to be Babe Ruth.
I just want to offer a public apology on behalf of the Marine Layer podcast to one Joe Doyle for causing him much more angst than he probably should by doing the gracious thing and coming on here.
But again, like his analysis on that is right. If you go and listen to the clip, we tweeted it out here on Thursday. The analysis on that's right. He showed today on Twitter, he had Yesavage ranked ahead of Jurangelo. But he talked about for the Mariners, Jurangelo as a pick made much more sense. And he analyzed
I just don't think he wants to go viral anymore. I just don't think he wants to look up. He's got 30 mentions.
I mean, if we've learned anything about Blue Jays fans in these playoffs, man, are they a feisty group on Twitter. Good Lord. And I don't just mean...
And they are led by the feistiest of them all.
Well, I was going to say, and I'm not even really talking about friend of the pod, Johnny Junta of Gate 14, because he might clap back at a lot of Mariners fans, but since we're all in good graces, like it doesn't usually come our way. It's all the trolls on Blue Jays Twitter that get all fired up and are ready to attack people. I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, they should probably just focus on the World Series and not on the Mariners. There's plenty of big Dodgers accounts out there that you guys feel free.
Hey, you need a plug? We have a friend that's got a massive Dodgers account on Twitter. You can go at him.
At Blake Harris.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that was a good one. Let's get to our next question. This is on YouTube from Gavin, and Gavin's question is, why is nobody talking about Luis Arraez anymore? He's a free agent. You wanted to add some contact to the bottom of your lineup. Why not?
I think nobody's talking about Luis Arraez because he was a below league average hitter this year. He had a 99 OPS plus, but he hit 292. So all the boomers are going to jump in here and say, oh, batting average will never die. This is how you build a winning baseball team. Blah, 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 blah. No, he was below league average as a hitter this year. Luis Arraez, when he is not literally hitting 350, isn't that valuable. He doesn't play defense. He doesn't run. He doesn't throw. There's a reason he doesn't rack up value by wins above replacement. I mean, the last 2 years, he's been a one-win player. He's not going into free agency with the ability to command a lot of money. Somebody will sign him. But the Mariners, one, I don't know where in the world you play him. And I don't really have any interest in allocating any money toward Luis Arraez, a guy who's not going to be a well above average hitter.
And Gavin is referring to, so Gavin wants to add more contact, right? But I think there's a big difference between just adding contact and adding the type of contact the Mariners saw against the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays version of contact was crush baseball in open spot on the field. Luis Arraez doesn't really crush baseballs. That's the thing. He needs to get a little lucky. He needs to put the ball all over the yard. And it's worked out very well for him in his career because he's got a swing that puts the ball right in the spot in the outfield that drops in for a single. And that's great. But he's also taken steps back in things that he's good at. I watched someone break this down. I can't remember who, but it sticks to me in my mind. This dude watches first pitch fastballs right down the middle more than just about anybody. Mm-hmm. Like the prime pitch of an at-bat, the best pitch you're ever going to see. He's got his bat on his shoulder, ball goes right by him, right down the middle. Like that's supposed to be someone who's in control of the strike zone, and that doesn't, just because you want to battle with two strikes, no. That part doesn't sound very good. And also, he used to slug a little bit. He had multiple years with a slug over 450. If he was going to hit 301 and slug 450, regardless of the fact he walked or not, or how many singles he hits, that's fine. But his slug the last 2 seasons was under 400. He's not slugging at least a little bit. That's a problem. And that makes him that much less valuable. But you're right. I don't know where you play him. Where do you play him?
I mean, if Naylor leaves, I guess that's a first base option. But don't go look at Luis Arraez's defensive metrics. They are awful.
If you want contact, just sign Josh Naylor.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he does well.
How many times do we have to keep coming back to this conversation? Get the fucking Josh Naylor deal done. Good Lord. I mean, Luis Arraez is a really bad defender. By outs above average, he is in the 4th percentile. And it's been like that basically his entire career? I mean, do you want to go by year? Since 2019, I'll just read it really fast. 1st, 12th, 10th, 15th, 1st, 4th. He's a terrible defender.
What would you be comfortable signing Luis Arraez for?
$5 million a year.
That's what I was going to say, $4 or $5 million. You want to guess what Spotrac projects him to get?
What?
$14 million.
Yeah, no. Whatever team gives him that, you might as well just take that money and piss it down the drain.
Thank you. That's exactly my thought.
I'm sorry.
Arraez comes with a star next to it, depending on how much he costs.
I'm sorry, Gavin. Hopefully you're still listening. It's still a good question. I understand the intrigue with Luis Arraez, and obviously there's not a lot of guys in today's day and age that hit for a crazy high average. It's a good question. You just unfortunately triggered the wrong button, at least for me, maybe for TJ a little bit too, where Luis Arraez, it's not about your question. It very much becomes a new school versus old school battle when you start talking about Luis Arraez, and you often have to fight these boomers that think he should win the MVP because he hits 300 in a day and age where nobody just hits for contact anymore. And it's like, well, he's not actually a valuable hitter anymore. He wasn't.
Not all contact is good.
Right. Exactly. So I don't think the Mariners should sign Arraez.
Next question comes from YouTube. Nathan is asking, what is the estimated market for Bregman? Would that possibly be worth it?
I mean, it's worth it, but we have to say it again. Scott Boras client. With that, it makes things really tough. Now, I'd love to sit here and say the Mariners should fix whatever ridiculous, strained relationship they have with Scott Boras at this point, because how has this gone on for 25 years? But somehow it has. And I don't know if they fixed it in one offseason or not. And I don't know, unfortunately, if the Mariners are going to pay Alex Bregman a ridiculous amount of money or not. I don't know. To me, it feels like he might just end back in Boston. And the Red Sox give him another short-ish term deal. Maybe there's some more years attached to it. Maybe the AAV will be a little bit lower than it was this past year when it was at $40 million a year. But Bregman feels like he's going to play in a decently sized market with a team that, well, I mean, the Mariners do win. I mean, they look at what they did this past year. It just, I don't know. It feels unlikely Bregman would go to Seattle. It feels like Boston's going to be in play. It feels like I'm sure the Mets will be in play again. I bet you the Tigers and AJ Hinch will be in play. Yeah, I just, it doesn't feel likely he'd come to Seattle. The market, I mean, there's going to be teams interested. There's no doubt. He's the top third baseman on the market again. But it feels like the teams that were interested in him last winter will probably be the ones interested again.
I think by far the biggest conundrum of this is not even the other teams involved in this. As it usually is, it comes down to the money. There's two roadblocks. Roadblock number one, you don't want to sign him to a long-term deal. Great. Maybe he would take a short-term deal. Short-term deal AAV would probably be about what it was last year, which was $40 million. As much as we'd like the Mariners to sign someone for $40 million a year, they're not going to do it.
Well, Kyle Tucker. But
K-Tuck might get less than that.
Well, that's true.
Especially now.
Yeah, AAV-wise, yeah.
The other option is to sign him for an AAV that is a little more manageable. How about below $30 million a year? Spotrac projects him to get $27 million a year. To do that, you need to sign a 31-year-old to probably at least an 8-year contract, which, again, we're not going to do. That leaves not much to sign Alex Bregman.
Yeah.
Is there a way around that?
And again, everything you just listed out, you didn't even mention the Scott Boras part of it. And dealing with Scott Boras versus the Mariners.
Mm-hmm. No way around that.
No. It just feels unlikely. And by the way, despite what I'm sure some people feel who are listening to this, and some people who will probably let us know in the comments how they want no part of Alex Bregman, he should be banned from baseball, he's a cheater, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I don't really care about that. If you had a chance to get Alex Bregman on your team, I'm doing it in a heartbeat. But for every roadblock that TJ just listed, I think that's why it won't happen. I hope I'm wrong, but I just doubt it.
Last question here comes from Ben on Instagram, and Ben's question is, does Kate Anderson have an impact on the team next year?
Possibility to, yes. Do I think he does? No, because for as polished as he is and as great a season at LSU as he just had, I think what it might be easy for some people to forget is Cade Anderson had Tommy John when he was in high school. He missed essentially his entire first year at LSU. His first season on the field, aka true sophomore year, he threw 38 innings, and then he had the big year as a junior and shot up draft boards to land him at number 3 to the Mariners when he could have gone at number 1. So what that's saying is Cade Anderson really had 1 year of a full season and productive college baseball since his junior year of high school. Could he traject really fast and get to the big leagues quickly next year and help down the stretch? I won't rule it out. Certainly possible. He's got the talent to do it. But I wouldn't rule out the Mariners slow playing him either. Let's remember, they didn't have him throw any innings once he got drafted. Shut him down. He went to Arizona, took it easy. I think they may be a little careful with him because, again, he hasn't been that far removed from Tommy John. And I think they want to build up a little bit of a workload first.
I look at the path to him being in the big leagues. And I also, to answer your question, Ben, I don't think he has an impact on the Mariners next year. Could you think of a path for him to get to the big leagues? Because I can't next year. I really can't, because here's the math you're dealing with right now.
Well,
this second, the Mariners have 5 starters in their rotation. They could trade one of them, but we don't know that yet. So right now they have 5 established starters. No open spots. Let's say they trade Luis Castillo. First man in that rotation next is Logan Evans, who will get a spot. He's pitched many more professional innings, so he's going to get a chance before Cade does. Cade is also probably going to be in Everett at this point, right? Just consider how far away he is, needing to get his feet under him from a professional level. Let's say it gets to midseason and Cade has 70 innings under his belt. Let's say he just graduated Everett and he's on to Arkansas now. Let's say someone else gets hurt. Or let's say Logan struggles and they want to try somebody else. But that's not going to happen because Logan Evans is our dude and he's going to crush next year. But in this hypothetical, let's say that spot opens up. Would you take Cade Anderson, who just got into Double-A? Or would you take Jurangelo St. who will be on his 4th or 5th month of Double-A pitching? Also a first-round pick.
Who could also be in Triple-A by that point.
Correct.
It'd be Jurangelo.
Yeah. So the only way Cade Anderson, I think, gets to the big leagues next year is if the Mariners have 3 injuries, long-term injuries in the rotation.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And Cade is not the strikeout guy, I think, at least from a stuff perspective, that someone like a Trey Savage is. I would be shocked if Cade Anderson shows up and rolls out that 41% strikeout rate that Trey Savage had in the minors this year. If he does, then maybe you think about it. Maybe, Lyle, you put him in the bullpen for the postseason. Who knows how well a really solid multi-inning high-leverage reliever could do in the playoffs for you at that point. But besides that, the math is just not mathing on this one. On top of the fact that he just needs to build up innings. I think the Mariners want to get him to 140 innings next year. And the easiest way to do that is to structure everything out for him in the minor leagues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's all lined out pretty well. And this is not a anti-Cade Anderson thing by any means. It's just a build him up sort of thing, and it's a number of spots on a roster sort of thing, and in a rotation thing. Cade Anderson's going to get his time, and when he's ready, he's going to be in the rotation, one way or another. But we got to get there first. And it just may not be as rapid fast as people want to see it be in 26, which is okay. But it just might not be rapid fast.
Yeah. So we'll see, but we'll get a better sense of this next year. I just think it depends how aggressive they're going to be with him. It does help they have other guys in front of him, and we're also not even including Ryan Sloan, who will essentially be toe-in-toe with starting next season as well, with both of them being in Everett. Who's going to move faster?
Well, Cade will move faster.
Maybe.
Than a high school arm, yeah.
More likely, but it's not guaranteed.
No, it's not guaranteed, but I think for as careful as they'll be with Cade Anderson, even more so with Sloan. With high school arms, you got to really develop them.
I'm not even thinking of terms of putting them in the big leagues. I'm thinking of in terms of like where they are in the system.
Yeah. I mean, Sloan will have a chance to get up at some point in 27, I think, if everything projects the way it's supposed to project. So in that way, him and Cade could be on similar trajectories. But college arms just naturally usually move faster, especially somebody like Cade Anderson.
And I'll also remind people there's not room for all of these arms. Unfortunately.
They'll figure it out. I mean, they'll figure it out at some point. But you can cross that bridge when you get to it.
Yeah. So, as of right now, just let them develop.
Yeah. All right. Good mailbag. As always, good questions. You guys always bring it. If you guys want to get priority on these, remember, you can sign up for our Patreon, which is over at our website, marinelayerpod.com, and you'll get priority. If you sign up, we'll answer your mailbag questions whenever you send them. It's that good of a deal. So go sign up. Okay, that just about wraps up this edition of the Marine Layer Podcast. You guys know the drill. If you want to listen to the full form podcast, you can do so wherever you get your audio pods. Make sure you're downloading these episodes. Please go rate and review 5 stars on Apple and Spotify if you're listening. If you're watching on YouTube, go hit the subscribe button. It just takes a second to do. It supports the channel a ton. Make sure you also drop a like and leave a comment if you're able. Everything's over at our website too. Again, marinelayerpod.com. All our merch is there. Patreon's there. That's marinelayerpod.com. And you can find us across social media everywhere at marinelayerpod. That's TJ. I'm Lyle. As always, we thank you guys for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.